eye. Who actually red eye? Mana tadi? Okay, guys. Okay, welcome to our week one. Week one practical sessions, which is this is a 2D animation. What we call that practical sessions over here. So thank you very much for joining our sessions because, as I mentioned before, uh, I wanted to continue our lessons before we're going to continue next week, basically with our exercise and our assignment one. Okay, according to the assignment one, if you look back again, it's all about the bouncing ball exercise. Okay, for today, basically, I want to give some introductions a bit. All right, okay, and hopefully from here, you guys can start to test, the practice, to develop basically your understanding, okay, on your Adobe Animate. So I'm using basically Flash 8. Generally, this is Macromedia kind of product lah. That the mother of those Adobe Animate. Adobe Animate a little bit more, not quite advanced lah for me, but still basically have a very certain kind of features that the Adobe Flash doesn't have. But the fundamental, the foundation of working, the concept of working with Adobe Animate later on is almost the same. Almost the same. The only thing different is the interface not quite very look elegant enough like Adobe Animate lah. The Animate kind of black, kind of dark, kind of interface kan. This one basically a little bit more light lah. But it's going to be work well, guys. Okay, work well. So as normal lah, okay. If you open up Flash document or Adobe Animate document later on, right? Okay, they will ask you basically the size. So the best way to modify the size, normally I will look into for the modify document over here. Okay, but Adobe Animate basically they will give you basically the earlier cannot recorded changes. Okay, so from here, okay, you have to take notes a bit, right? Even though I record the sessions, so you not take notes, right? All right, the dimension is 1920 1080. This is the format that I'm going to use. Okay, all right. This is the format I'm going to use. The frame rate are going to be 25 frames per second. Okay, for animations, kind of what we call that frame rates. Okay, yang ini this one that okay, you need to remember that okay, every time when you setting up your file. This one I think is of full HD. Okay, full HD kind of format. Okay, it's a landscape, not portrait. Portrait basically for TikTok. Okay, remember that. If we're doing for TikTok, we have to use basically the portrait format lah. Okay. So once basically you have setting up, you can make default, okay, if you want to, like this. Then click OK. Straight away to work on the tools. Okay, normally there's the toolbar basically you guys can actually remove lah. From what I understand later on also next week, okay, when I actually demonstrate back again using Adobe Animate, okay, you will see basically some of the tools arrangements, the interface will be changing, right? Okay, but if you guys will open up Adobe Animate right now, you can actually compare that right from there. Okay, you guys can compare that right. So what are the things that you need to know that right about the tools? Okay, first of all about the interface itself. Macromedia Flash, right, Adobe Animate as well. They have the toolbar normally from side, top, you can actually rearrange. Okay, that's normal thing, right? Okay, on Adobe kind of applications and other application, I think as well. Right. Another thing is, okay, the most important thing is stage. Yang ni stage. Okay, this is the area that you're going to be work. Okay, for your any kind of work animation, right? Okay, this is basically the areas of working files, right? Okay, outside. Okay, when you play around, they are not going to be open, okay? But this is basically your screen size, okay? Your frame screen size, right? And then this timeline scoring, okay? The time score, okay? Kind of what we call that frames. What we call that bar, right? Okay? So this is basically where the scenes are going to be happening. All right. This is the frame kind of what we call that timeline there, right? Okay. These are the one. So every single kind of this frame timeline, okay, they will apply a drawings. So we go in post to post. Okay. All right. If you learn later on, basically, right, on the what we call the lecture session theoretical classes, right? Okay, 1 second equal to, okay, 25 frames per second. Okay, that's basically how they indicate. Okay, indicate basically the frame rates. Okay, 25 frame per second for 1 second of animations. But if you look back again later on how actually I work with the animation, it doesn't mean we have to draw the whole 25 frame drawings. Okay, so we're going to extend based on the timeline, based on the timing itself. Okay, not timeline, timing there. Okay, so that means, right? Okay, if for example, when we want to move something directly, before that, before I'm going to show how to move directly something there, I want to introduce a little bit on this toolbar. One of the most important toolbar that I actually going to use to teach you guys there, okay, to introduce you guys, okay, or to demonstrate to you guys, okay, on our lessons. Most of the times, okay, I'm not going to use all the tools that are not required for us to work, right? Because this is to be animations. And as I mentioned to you guys also, that we wanted to test also back again our drawing skill. Okay, so the tools that I'm going to use, not a pencil tools, guys. Okay, I'm going to use brush tool a lot. Why? Because using brush tool, generally, you guys can control more on your solid line of your characters. Okay, of your design itself. Okay, remember one thing, guys. Okay, we still apply the design and aesthetical understanding. We still actually work ourselves as multimedia design student or designers. Okay, you have to remember that your discipline is multimedia design. Okay, so once basically you click to this brush tool, uh, generally in Adobe Animate, okay, there's a few different kind of there's a extra kind of what we call that toolbar there, I think. They're hidden basically on these tools. So you guys can actually click to bottom there, right there. They will open up basically some of the tools that required for you guys to see from here. Okay, and then the options kind of tools right here. This is also important there, okay? This is the way that you want to change your size of your brushes. You also can use, if I'm not mistaken, what we call that, Control Plus. Oh no, this open cap. I don't remember the right thing to the raw perspective. Okay, sizing there, I think. But if I'm not mistaken, Adobe Animate, you can use basically shortcut key to resize basically the tools, the brush size. But right now, for these old versions, we cannot, right? So have to change, okay, by myself. Okay, this is basically type of brushes. Normally, I'm going to use this one. Okay, and then okay, can see from there or not? You see, because the screen that I use basically right here. Oops. You see the tools, right? Because the other monitors that I use basically is not in a what we call that right kind of dimension. But you guys can still see this, the tool is it. Okay, right. Give me basically some icon or time ups, right? If you guys can see the tools, guys. Can I? Okay, good. So we have another one, right? It is important tools over here. Okay, is use pressure tools. This one you have to click. Why? Because this is how basically you can get the see just now, right? If I off this one, we don't get the very what we call that quality of line there, right? You cannot get the stroke. This one you can get the stroke. See? That's why we are using this kind of tools. See? And some more directly, this brush it allow us to use to do a freeform kind of drawings. Uh, freeform. Okay, you work with me there, right? Okay, I will do a lot of freeform drawings because from freeform drawings, you can basically look into more. You can develop more on your potential on designing the character. If you guys were using this one pencil brush, all right. Normally, people will hide a lot. All right, okay? People they cannot get the true potential of their own works, of their own skill. Remember, I actually always want to emphasize your individual skill at first, rather than you try to become someone else. Okay, like this one, right? Okay? I actually recommend it for new beginners to work. Why? Because the problem is right now to handle basically these characters using this kind of methods, you cannot basically you will stick into the shape itself. You cannot actually extend them. You cannot play with your image. You will have a certain kind of what we call a point that you what I say like you have a kind of rule that you have to take from there. All right, you will strip yourself. That's why sometimes students actually use this one if they don't have enough knowledge right, to expand their kind of ideas or creativity from there. They will start everything with this kind of shapes. By right, basically, we just can actually explore it. Okay? It doesn't mean okay, you can use this kind of you cannot actually apply all the things that we want basically to graph principle animation. We can, but the line that you actually emphasize right here sometimes our mindset again, our way of thinking is not basically ready enough. That's all. Unless you actually can twist it basically your mind from there. That's why I didn't actually use this one a lot for most of my lesson at first. So the best way use this one. Why? Okay, first of all, okay, first frame rate has to be basically the first drawing that you are going to be produced, right? That's the first thing. Layer one, okay? You want to add another layers, you just click another one there, okay? That's other things. Okay? Control Z basically is one of the things there. Right? So when you start to draw something, first of all, you have to remember you need to have some sketches. Okay? Sketches can ada. Okay? So you cannot rely to draw something like this girl or something like this girl, okay? Without basically think over about, okay, what we call the ideas of the characters. All right. But if you look at how actually I work right here, you see, I already had basically my ideas how to develop my characters. That's the thing. That's a good thing. But if you draw freeform like this, most people it doesn't have any kind of understanding how to gain the balance between the characters. It's basically the problem. That's basically the most problem that we have. Okay, common kind of what we call the issue that we have for the beginners. Okay? Sometimes if you can see, okay, the hands a bit more shorter lah, shorter like this or longer a bit. Sometimes a bit short like this, there, right? Okay? You don't balance out basically the measurement, the alignments, okay, the structure properly. Okay, even though basically you draw the shape like this, for example, okay, circle shape like this. Now we want to have the solid line, guys. That's why we use basically these brushes, and then you have to use also the right kind of size. Don't use a too thin line directly like this. Why? Because they will apply lack of confidence on your kind of process of working. Don't too thick directly. Sometimes too thick directly. I'm not saying it's not okay, but depend lah, right? Okay? But for me, sometimes this thickness will give you a lot of control, powers, okay, of your own line. Especially for the studio animations kind of purpose lah, okay? And then, okay, let's just say you want to design another kind of shapes, okay, the body itself. Like let's say the line state, okay, the neck and then the body, and then you want to draw basically the legs, and then you want to draw basically the arms, for example like this, huh? And then what else there, right? The eyes. For me though, okay, if I want to design a characters over here, let's just say this is my sketches, right? I will start basically with all these basic form there first. All right. The conventional way of working, for example, okay, that you actually always, okay, you can select your files, like your kind of shapes like this, and you can group them, Control G. Okay, Control G. Group. Okay, the shortcut key there, okay, group. Okay, and of course, you have to group most the element first. This one, right? You group first. Okay, let's just say this is my sketches. Okay, let's just say okay, you want to draw something, shapes of the character. Don't draw like this. Okay, please don't draw like this. Practice after this. Okay, after these classes, you have around 4 days, 5 days there. Okay, practice to use the brush first. This is basically lesson there. The most important thing. Okay? A lot of people fail. Okay, to follow these directions. They keep doing the same mistakes. Then they draw like this one. Jangan draw like this, please, guys. Okay. You don't make yourself worse. Macam ni. Ini bukan the right kind of way to draw. Okay. For me, the best way, if you're not familiar enough with the tools or cannot control the brushes tools yet inside what we call that Adobe Animate, either you sketch using any kind of other application, macam Photoshop ke, right, okay, or Procreate ke, Krita ke, you sketch lah first. Get comfortable with your sketches first, your design first, okay. From there, you save into JPEG file and you import, okay, to your libraries or to your stage. Okay, let's just say lah, I have sketched a few characters, okay. I open up my Photoshop just to show you guys, okay, how it works. Brush tool, do you have any problems? Tenang, right? Okay, only use one brush here. Okay, I try to be more simplified, okay, but they will be more effective for you guys to explore and learn first. You know. The first thing, the character has to be look appealing. Okay, I give you guys another demonstrate a bit lah, I think. For this one. Ini jangan buat Don't make that kind of mistakes. You want to draw something, okay, circle. Jangan draw kecil, right? Draw this big. Even though it's not circle lah, this look like an oval a bit. Okay. The character look appealing. How? First of all, okay, the eyes lah. Never draw the eyes like this. I saw some of the students draw like this. Never draw the eyes based on square first. Square doesn't look appealing, guys. You want to delete, right? Select like this, click shift or control and then delete. Okay, control, select, shift, normal lah. All right, have to select other kind of areas there. So this one, right? Normally, once basically you create one shape like this, right? Start to group them up. Okay, and then you want to draw eyes. Start with the shape like this, for example, to make it more appealing. And then you can duplicate. Duplicate, how duplicate? Control, alternate, duplicate. Or copy, Control C, Control V, paste. Then you get the 3/4. Always start your character in 3/4 view. You have to look like what I did right now. Okay? Every character that I did from 3/4 view. Okay? What else there, right? Nak dapatkan more appealing there, okay? Simple. You change basically the colors over here. What, The color slide. Color mixer, color slide. You can find also on normally window. Okay, you change in white color first. Me. All right. I can check basically the color field over here. Then you put eyes highlight macam ni. Simple. When you put highlight, you can see the difference, right? The character start to look more alive. Okay. So to make the appealing characters, you don't have to try hard a lot. Okay. This one also look appealing. Okay? Look nice and presentable there, okay? How to draw the lips. Simple there, guys, okay, to work on that. You don't have to try hard to work on that. So you have basically all these 4 different elements from your characters having grouped separately. Okay, why we have to group them up? Easy for me or for us basically to rearrange, reduplicate. Of course, in animation, you have to duplicate a lot. Okay, from here, maybe you want to change the expression. Okay? Dah jadi dah. And fill in color, what I use basically normally for fill in color basically the paint bucket. Alright, you dah dapat dah different expression, alright? Simple. Alright, okay, this one. You want to exaggerate the character. Remember the principle kan? So what we can do, click Q button. Q keyboard button there, okay? Q basically to rescale. Can you see this anchor point there, okay? This middle point there. You want to exaggerate. Jangan exaggerate like this. This one lucky now, right? Can you change? Normally, you scale like this, it's not going to be followed, right? Best way, bring this one over here. Okay, bottom. If you want to stretch on top, okay? If you want to stretch bottom, you bring at the top, bring like this. This one are going to be applied a lot in your animation stretch and squash later on. Okay? That's basically one of the tips. Bring back the movie. You want to stretch to the left side, right side. You can actually play like this one, right? See? This is also one of the good tools for you to animate it one, post to post animation. Okay? That's the thing. You have to remember that. Fill in the color. Okay. Double click first. Double click at the shapes. You change the color, for example, right here. And then paint bucket. Right. So select first. Once you double click to the group kind of window, okay, they go into the group window over here. All right. And then click outside first, once only, because you see the group window, right? And then you change the color first, then fill in inside over here. See? You can change the color there. Put more lighter, and then I want to create some highlight, for example. Highlight. Okay, if you want to create a shadow there, okay, later on. So for example, you have this one there, right? Sample. Put outside first. Okay. Right here. Okay, let's just say you have another version. Okay, another thing there, guys, if you want to make some changes for your characters, especially on this, what we call that design process there, right? This is basically the other development process. You have to duplicate your character. Don't basically do changes in the same object or same character that you've been designed for the first time. Okay? Why? Because you cannot see things that you have done before. You cannot actually memorize or recognize that, right? Okay? Or remember that, right? Okay? Because in the development process, it is important for us to duplicate our works inside our stage during basically the development process. Because why? Because we have to see some comparisons. What are the things that we have done what are the changes that we've done. We can try to recognize basically some of the things that we've done, mistakes, or is it suitable enough, right? For the whole kind of design itself. Yeah, how to finalize them. We can make a lot of decisions from there. For example, like this one, I'm not saying basically this is the final one, okay? What I can do, I will change a lot, okay? Simple changes make a lot of difference. For example, here, right, okay, I want to make some shadow, for example. Double click back again. This one, I'm using pencil. See, pencil. You can change also the colors of your line works over here on colors. Then you want to draw something, right, okay, or shading, right, okay? Lighting, okay, I will use shadows based on lighting directions. That means you have to decide if, let's just say, right, okay, you're planning your art directions of your light are going to came from this side. Okay, the main shadow should be fall off right here. You have to draw the shape of shadow. This one also indicate the understanding back again. That okay. Then I will change. Okay, the other thing that I not always apply, I didn't use a lot of swatches. I'm using color mixture than the swatches that I do. Uh, there's there's a certain time I'm using the swatches, but most of the time I try to play around first with my color mixture. Why? To practice also my indication of understanding how to play with colors at the same time. Subconsciously, basically, you teach yourself, not just to rely on the things, the tools that been prepared for you, but you're exploring something different, okay, that you have learned before to develop your success at the same time. Ini dia punya the secret recipe that way, okay, that people never thought. People thought to be creative, you have to be you need to have talent. No, you need to have also the right kind of technical way it works, the right kind of mindset that you have to prepare yourself that way. Okay, now we have the shadow. You can see the difference now, guys. Okay, without shadow and shadow, they're more solid, right? But of course, if you have 20 characters, the same characters, you have to use the same shadow lah. Itu yang a lot of people basically cannot bear. Right? Of course lah, okay, traditional conventional way. Using AI different. Everything that been done for you. You only have to design characters sometimes. Okay? But when using basically this conventional way, yeah, this is one of the way. Okay? That's why I don't want you guys to draw complicated character yet. Learn the concept of working. But it doesn't mean this from this character, okay, I will try to make something different, right? First of all, I tak nak the eyes basically same color. Now, I'm using this color, okay, a bit more darker but not black. Okay, guys, another secret recipe there, okay, to design and using color. Never use black. Okay? Understand, huh? If you guys understand, please put those iconic kind of responder, right? Okay? Thank you, Janice. All right. Anis and everyone, all right. So never use black first. If you want to play, develops your kind of color senses, never use black. Why? Once you use black, the whole thing looks black. Okay? So the art of working with colors, never use black first. Of course, like you saw anime sometimes, okay? But if once basically you learn the formal academic education's way of working like this one, right? When you compare some of the animation that you saw later on, you will see. All right, okay? Sometimes, okay, the what we call the colors of hair that they use look like black, but basically it's not pure black. But if you saw sometime Upin Ipin, one of the characters, right, a few characters that they done, right? If they use black, you can see the difference, right? Suddenly the whole city, the whole visuals become a little bit more flat, right? Even though they use 3D animation, there's something out, okay, from those kind of color kind of combination that you can see from there. That's why the best way to apply the color combination of your conceptual kind of visual, never use black. Kalau black and white kind of comics, black and white kind of styles, okay, or art, kind of what we call that, but not nouveau, right? Okay? Not nouveau, right? Okay. Yes, you can use that black and white grayscale tone lah. Tapi kalau you guys are working with the color kind of style, right? Okay, you try to create a color concept style, right? Never use black, okay? But you can add those black kind of elements a bit lah, right? Okay, to adjust the value and tone, but not pure black. So if you look right here, I already have basically this color. How to actually what we call that blend or get these colors, put inside this the second one. Either you can duplicate and paste, or you can use eyedropper. Any eyedropper here. Click to eyedropper, then double click back again outside, double click to this eye, and then fill in. Dalam group. Everything is inside the group there, right? Okay? Now you can see the difference. Same goes to the mouth there, right? Okay? Or the lips. Okay? Simple kind of things. I'm not saying this is the final version, but this is the process of designing the character. You can use any colors that you want, but never use black. Okay? This one basically I forgot to change basically just now. But I want to show basically right here what are the important things about using the brush first. And then next week we learn how to animate. Okay? We learn how to use the tools to animate. This week you explore first design. Buat banyak design, right? Okay? Create a lot of design first. Okay? For me, the more the merrier. Jangan buat satu je. Don't stick it to one design only. Make sure you know, you learn the concept of working with the tool first. And make sure you group, okay, each part at first. Each important part lah. Okay? From here, okay, we leave it first. Okay, these two guys. Okay. Kat sini, outside. Sibuk je. Alright. This one we put over here. Now, of course lah, when you do your work, okay, Adobe Animate, they are the automated save. Now you save the file first. Jangan lupa save the files. Okay, so save your files, put into the right kind of document. All right, we have the UMP. Okay, mana 2D animations? No 2D animations yet. Okay, I put this as 2D animation first. Okay. Now we have, okay, folder, okay, week 1 first. Okay. This is week 1. Practical sessions for group 6, kan? So, okay. So, now we have basically character. If you select the whole thing macam ni, click Q, and don't scale like this, huh? Nampak ni lari. Click shift lah. Alright. But I remember, right, if I'm not mistaken, Adobe Animate, sometimes there's a feature, when you select, you don't have to click shift anymore. Like if you want to because they actually change a bit on the directions of the tool kind of indication, okay? And some more there, guys, the good thing about using basically the brush tool, think about the size, the radius size of the strokes, they don't change. And they always keep on solid kind of things. From here, you want to make some changes, simple there, guys. Okay, how about the body? This one basically, right, okay, the indicator, if I want to make the body itself, you see, right? Let's just say when you indicate the body like this, suddenly the shapes is in front there, right? What you can do? Send to back. How to send to back? Okay, right click. Ada tak arrange? Arrange, send to back. Okay. I'm not saying you can use these characters only. Banyak character you guys can design. All right. But this is one of the simplest and still look appealing to develop those character efforts. And from here, right, see how actually I develop them, right? I want to create a legs. Right. I can start with this one first. For example, right, as simple as this. For example, duplicate pun boleh, group, duplicate, send to back. Third kaki send to back, control shift, down kind of key there, right? Okay. Arrow, down arrow key there, right? The hands, cannot draw like this, ni pendek. Has to be drawn properly. Okay. Even though we can stretch and squash, okay, one also can duplicate. Kalau you lazy enough to draw, duplicate, then go to this part, okay, modify, transform, flip horizontal, and then send to back. Baru nampak 3/4 view. Okay. If you want to add few elements from this character, duplicate first. Jangan make changes in the same. Don't do a thinking process during the creative kind of what we call that development using the same model. You duplicate first. That's where basically you can what we call that refer back again and do some another kind of analyzation during the design process. This is something that people don't actually what we call that realize that, right, when they come to develop those kind of design. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, okay, this is one of the designs. Okay, I want to show you guys also another design. Okay, this is a red bricks, right? Okay, and design this one for the red bricks. But I'm using the same method, guys. See, semua separate. Everything has to be separate, guys. Ini basically one of the design I showed to our friend, Mr. Abid, okay, before he go to 3D. This one. Banyak cara, guys, untuk create a design. This is also one of the design that I create using the same method, guys. Okay, and I also did separate. See, this semua separate. So the most important things when you actually design the element, even though basically this what we call this antenna, I'll still separate them. Ini tak separate lah, the body. Okay. And why basically I start with the brushes to the brush tools and also very solid kind of line, because we have the ability to adjust basically the character. Sometimes I didn't draw too much, but some of the drawings I have to draw lah, to exaggerate a little bit there, right? And when you use basically this method, your kind of drawings or your kind of presentation of your characters more interesting. And normally, if you go in the right way, when you design in the right way, your drawings, your presentation will look more confident. Okay? That's why I encourage you guys to use brushes. And you have to prepare all this stuff first. The best way there, guys, for this way, you create basically one characters or more than one if you want to test basically your kind of ability there, right? But make it simple there, right? Okay, and nice. I start with the insect. I start with the worm type kind of character, right? Okay, very simple there, right? Okay, first you want to draw some characters with the legs. Yourself, go ahead. What else there, right? Orange, blue. I can share with you guys basically a lot of things that I've done there before. Okay, let me go through a bit. Mana 2D animation? Dia anything. This one, Durian Boy ni. You see, kalau you nak buat the character with limbs lah, right? Okay, with parts, right? Okay, body parts. See right here. Ini semua, see? Can you see that, right? I've been separate them. Start eyes with the bold eyes like this. And just say you don't want to use the. Okay, I can duplicate this one. And just say I don't want to use a white shapes of eyes. Boleh juga. Okay. The good thing about this design, bila you dah separate them, everything you have to separate. Once you separate them, easy for you to make some changes later on. Because we work with post-to-post animation. Okay? We work with post-to-post animation there, guys. Post animation. So one drawing to another drawing. That's why we need basically to separate the elements. Okay, the body parts there, right? Semua yang ini tak payah. Ini tak payahlah you nak ni pasal apa susah nanti, right? Okay, the body itself. Okay, but you see lah, okay, durian character, how I have simplified basically the shape. Okay, no matter how good you are, draw a character, okay, anime, manga lah, whatever there, right? Don't trap yourself right now, please. Jangan trap yourself. Because you want to understand how to work first. Okay, and we want to speed up the process of learning, but you can draw. I tak kata you cannot draw. Okay, this is basically your assignments. But don't get trapped of it until basically you cannot submit the work on time. Itu saja. There's no point you design beautiful character, nice character, look appealing, but it doesn't work for you. Understand? You delivered late. You have a lot of problem to move them. You have to figure out a lot of things. Okay, when you want to animate them, there's a lot of responsible from the character that you have to take care of. Okay, we talk about the workload that you are going to experience, but you can try them, guys. Go ahead. You're still young, but you have to back up also your plan. Okay, my navigation very simple there, guys. Okay, because I want to make the character look appealing and easy to animate. See, simple je to animate. Okay, then we actually can change a lot right here. If I want to make more exaggerations, okay, I simply basically stretch. For example, like this one, eyes. You see how I actually can play with it. Select them and adjust a bit more like this. See, this one I can actually exaggerate more. You see that, right? Ini kena tarik sikit lagi. Kan? Ini I can actually stretch a little bit more. You see? Kan senang. So animation is all about this one. Okay? Because in real life, of course, you cannot actually do stretch and squash like this. See? Right. Okay, you cannot do the extreme kind of stretch there, right? Animation, I'll teach you guys next week. Okay, how to animate there, right? Okay. This time, okay, learn step by step first. Belajar dulu, practice more on designing first, and prepare also the poses there, okay, like this. Boleh je buat, okay. Another thing there, guys, okay, how basically you can actually develop the poses easily. Another thing that you can do there, okay, let's just say you want to do some poses lah, right? Okay. Select them, duplicate, copy, all right, and then put into another layers. Okay, how? Okay, this one, Right click, insert keyframes. Right click, insert keyframes. Everyone get it, huh? Okay, you duplicate lah. Okay, now you want to see what you have done in the first keyframe before you make some changes. You click to this edit multiple frame. Sometimes dia ada kat bawah, sometimes dia kat atas. Okay, depends on the animate. Adobe Animate, I think different a bit already, but it's still the same tools. Okay, edit multiple frame. You find this one there, right? Kalau you boleh find, good. Click this one. Then if you move this character, sorry, not this one. Sorry. Onion skin. Sorry. Onion skin. See onion skin. Sorry there. I put basically here, okay? It's got sometimes basically I use basically Adobe Animate or Flash, okay? Because I am doing a lot of things nowadays using AI. So go onion skin. Onion skin is very powerful tool to animate the character, to use to animate the character's motion directly, because you can see the difference from there. So from here you can make some changes. Let's just say you make some changes over here. The character move, let's just say you want to change basically the body itself. You change the body, kind of what we call that position, or you stretch a little bit like this. You see, stretch a little bit like this, and then of course the eyes also may transform up a bit, right? And then this one right here, the mouse just a little bit, and you put it just a little bit, for example, like this. The hands, let's just say the hands, right? You want to draw different kind of, you can see basically the thickness, right? Okay, you can maintain the thickness, but right now you press a little bit, all right? They become like this. Make, okay, the hands, okay, stretch like this. This one, let's say the legs, because you can see the different, okay, of those changes. There, maybe like this. One, same. Maybe like this. Freeform. Okay. So you close, you can see the difference there. See, right? Simple kind of motion there. So another drawings you can duplicate from this one, or duplicate also from the previous one. Then when you have this kind of drawings, don't animate first. You can put right here, right, on this one, or maybe you actually can cut this one first. Then you put right here. You add it right here. Then you can see the difference. So then you duplicate and rearrange. Okay, the next kind of face, go back right here, click onion skin. You can bring the characters over here if you want to. Let's just say you don't want to use this one, right? For the second frame, buang here. You phone not going to use, right? Delete first. This one you can make some changes. You put basically this character, you arrange the character right here. Right here. Okay, you arrange the characters right here, and then you make some changes more like this one. That's how basically you can actually make more efficient and faster kind of changes on the character itself. Okay, if you look back again, am I actually draw a lot of new elements? Am I draw a new element? No, right? So that's basically the smartest way basically to work with your design. Okay, ni guna ni. Right click, create a keyframes, or you can use also create another keyframes. That means they duplicate from first keyframe to the second keyframe. Kalau you create insert frames only, they will basically expand the frame. Okay, if you click to the next frame, right? Let's just say insert blank keyframe. Blank keyframe, there's no object. So you can bring over this one, let's just say this one, copy, paste right here. In the third keyframe pun boleh. All right. So there's a reason sometimes why we use all these keyframes directly. First of all, to animate the pose to pose. Second one, basically, because you want to design the character poses that pose. Prepare the poses like this. I'm using that kind of onion scheme and insert keyframes or blank keyframes to change the character kind of pose. Easy for us to make some guide, and the character also doesn't change a lot based on the alignment itself. Okay, that's basically the how to speed up basically the process. That's why my characters look consistent at the same time. Okay, understand that, right? Same goes to this one. Macam ni. Alright, I start with 5 keyframe of drawings. Ada lagi guys, banyak saja that I can share. Okay, what else, alright? This design, kalau you nak design a human character, for example, here, see? But this one I didn't animate yet. Okay, but I'm not, okay, when it comes to design, remember, we actually multimedia designer. Okay? See how I design the character. Tangan. Who need basically the hands to be attached to the body. You can floating around. Legs. Who say that we need a proper kind of limbs? While basically we can readjust them, okay? Make it simplified. And I'm using 2 head scale kind of character style. Same goes to this one there, right? And of course, when you design the character, you need to design basically also the model turnaround. That one basically for the second assignment, right? If I'm not mistaken, second assignment there. But we go through back to back, guys, okay? Because we only have a few weeks basically to complete. Because I show you guys all this stuff because I want you guys to have some ideas how to work in advance. Doing a bouncing ball is not that hard, okay? But to learn how to designing using the right kind of tools basically takes a lot of time. Okay? If you guys can have a look at it, most of the design that I create, this is another things. Another character versions from the sketches that I create. I need my sketches are using Photoshop. I forgot to change, right? I'll demonstrate just now there, right? But this one is indication of characters in Photoshop. Okay, so when I actually work on this, I get some sort of like complaint, guys. This one is a childish kind of complaint. I feel like the students say that again. I always teach how to design characters. Of course, lah, to the animation, guys. All right. Then I draw basically the eye first, like this. This one, group that first. And then shape of the pupil, I select them, for example, like this. And then I fill the colors lah. Fill the color for right. Macam ni, group. And then the highlight. Okay, double click, color first. Okay, the eyes. Kalau you not basically okay, the changes a bit more darker, go ahead, but not black, not pure black, dark green. Dark green there, right? You see, and then send to back. This is how basically I do the work, okay? Okay, the eyebrow. Okay, I designed the eyebrow. Okay, this is dark green. Don't. It's not black. And select group that way. There's a lot of things that you have done. You need to understand it, guys. Okay, not just only this thing. Okay, when you draw a complicated character like this, you have to bear in mind the responsible is different. Okay, let's just say you want to draw ears. Ears also, right? When you draw ears, you have to draw separately. Sekarang group, this one group, and then the head. This is the tricks. You draw like this, for example, like this. You have to draw the whole head first. But to me, right? you saw how actually I work, I draw the whole head first. It's hard to handle a bit different. Okay. If not sambung like this, right? How are we going to stop? You can sambung if you want to, or you just can use pencil to sambung. All right, and then you can fill the colors. Okay, fill the colors, light a little bit. Okay, and then double click to the line and delete. Yang ni, the ears kan, areas. They're supposed to be on top. Bring to front. And then double click. Okay, this one, you tutup first and fill in the color there. And double click, double click, and delete. There you get the ears. But where basically the pattern, the crumple there, right? You bring to back a bit. See? This is how basically we change. You can group them up, this one. Group first. See the difference? Cover the areas. Some of the secondary motion, sometimes we actually can make some changes for the ears. The ears can be moved. They're secondary motions. Right? And where basically the eyes just now. This is the eyes. See? So to prepare the human characters is not that easy as it looks. Design one single character for illustration, okay. Animations, the process, the way of working, the discipline, different. You have to separate them first like this. Let's just say lah, right, okay, you want to design the hair. Okay, the hair design. How it looks that way. Okay, let's just say I want to design the hair. Yes. Let me show a bit. Okay, this one, once I actually design one, group there first, automatically they will go in front. Now, I will design separately that first. You see like this. But the way that I design it, guys, okay, because this is the lady there, right? This one for back view there, okay? That's why I draw like this first, okay, then cover them up. Okay, ini, of course, you can use this method. Cover then part, the part first, and then you can color. If you look back again, guys, I didn't use a lot of base, what we call that normal colors there. Okay, now you have the hair, right? Not the beard, hair. Okay, this part's supposed to be separately, okay, at the back. Tapi tak boleh, right? This one has to be separate first. Okay, this part, this back hair, okay, bottom one, you have to cut first, bring outside, group, and then send to back. Baru nampak natural. Nanti ada neck lah, atau ada body. Okay, this one kena in front a bit. Okay, ini kadang-kadang, right, we can actually separate. Okay, and then we can transform, flip horizontal, and then we rescale to make it more better. Kan? Cuma eyes, highlight ni kena jaga-jaga, right? If you use highlight like this, they become like a cross eye. How to change? Senang je, modify, transform, flip horizontal. There, dapat. Then you put inside right here. There, the difference. Eye formations. Okay, ini, this is one of the, what we call that, one of the way to design the character. Kalau you, some of you guys feel that I want to test my characters, the nose style, for example, like this group, I can put right here. Lips, design the lips. And for example, like this. Groups. See? Right. In here, okay, I can change the colors if I want to, according to the hair, or I can maintain if I want to. Just to give different kind of looks there, right? Sebenarnya, right, guys, okay, it's all about design. You design things. You try to use your senses as it works. Okay, what else that we can do, right? Okay, a lot, right? Another changes that you make sure basically you duplicate. Itu je. I show basically the right, okay, in advance right here because I want to make sure that you guys can benefit the lessons at the same time you can try it by yourself. Okay, the ears from this side. Because of you, maybe you nampak sikit lah, right? Okay, changes, you make some changes in use basically pencil tools. Why? Basically for the shapes, for the what we call that shortcut key. You select this one, jadikan putih. For example, like this. You double click to the line, delete. Ni tak ngam kan? Okay, double click, make sure the whole thing have selected. Same goes to this part. Sebenarnya boleh je duplicate if you want to. I decide to draw lah. And then fill in. You double click. Okay. Then you can have different. Mana pergi I tu kan? You will send to back. Dapat dah, right? You see the difference from that. Even though you want to create shadow later on, guys, remember one thing, nampak macam tedious, right? But it's a good process. You duplicate. Don't do it everything in one single object. That's why you cannot see the difference from there. Okay? This one, shadow. Where to indicate shadow? Of course, lah, right? Okay, shadow should be fall off if I actually want to design something like this. For example, like this, right? Okay, like this one. Shadow fall off right here. So that means the color has to be changed a bit. See? So use the same shadow. Normally for Adobe Animate, if I'm not mistaken, if you click to the eyedropper more than once, they automated are going to create your own color code over here. The color scheme that you use. Ni from this side. Okay, I want to create shadows. Of course, the highlight will come over here. We have to thinking over, okay, how actually going to control the shadow line there, shadow shapes there. What we call that, this part. Okay, for the shadow itself. Of course, they will cover these areas and the highlight came over here lah. Right? And then what I can do, I select the first, go to mixture. I also cannot see from here. This color tone because as I remember, Adobe Animate more easy lah, right? Adjust the tone. My shadow, see? On. All right. Double click. Okay, blend it up. This one, everything you have to do it ourselves. Okay, the shadow. Okay. For example, okay, the shadow line there, okay. The shadow define also the indication of those, the volume of tone. At the same time, they will indicate also the moment directive of mystery sometimes. It all depends on the shadow kind of information. This is basically if you want to work with a human character. For me, my kind of directions is beyond anime, beyond manga, but I try to mix up, okay, also with American kind of design a bit and mix up with also with the TV character at the same time. That's basically the way that I'm working. Okay, for me, you want to explore, go ahead. But I'm not recommend all the time to animate or to design the characters according to the human only. You can try everything you want. Start to sketch first. Right. I don't think basically we have to show you guys basically how to sketch. Huh? Yeah, right. Huh? But this is basically the sample of sketches that I made inside Photoshop. Okay. So the best way is sketch first, and then you trace. You import the files, and then you bring over to the stage right here. Something right, and then you actually can sketch. Normally, I will look into the library there, like this. Tengok this space boy there, right? And sometimes the line also have to be changed. Nampak tak consistent, right? This is a girl character. I'm using the same template but different kind of gender. You see? Itu yang the good thing about the Adobe Animate. Okay? And start with 3/4 view first. Don't start with front view because that doesn't look efficient there, right? From 3/4 view, you can do a lot of things. Okay, a lot of things that you guys can do. Okay? Ada tak lagi the design? Yeah, for any background. Okay, to later, guys. Ini some of the character that I did for one of the students. Okay, the problem is, guys, as I remember, okay, as I want to remind you guys, you design a very simple character, sometimes make it more harder if you don't actually improve your drawing skills. This lady, if I'm not mistaken, okay, this girl there, right? No matter how basically she's want to develop the characters, even though that simple character like that also, she had a very hard time because she don't actually take seriously and focus to develop her drawing skills. Okay, that's why I always remind you guys, okay, practice your drawing stroke first. Sometimes with this simple character like this also, right, okay, it's hard for you to handle the design. They look simple there, okay, but your mind and your coordination of hand is not ready now. So this week, practice first. Sketch first properly. Get to know about the alignment of the character itself there, okay? Try to get used basically to develop the character from scratch based on the head scale kind of formations. All right, that's the thing. Two head scale is good enough. Jangan do more than that. Apa lagi, right? What are these? The same thing. Ini character yang fries. For me, right, when I design the character fries, right, I'm using the fries element, see, to make it into the leg and limbs. Lagi appealing sebenarnya. Tapi because she doesn't get it right, she doesn't know how to handle the brush tool correctly, and some more the knowledge of understanding of balance up the character also. This one, right, I think it's a 1.5 scale, if I'm not mistaken, the character. All right, because the body combined also with the head at the same time, right? So the art of designing the character basically a lot of things that you can make some changes. And some more, let me see the writing. My kind of what you call that files that I use basically to work for this. Generally, I think I already delete the file, copy into another kind of file because I thought basically I will not teach basically 3D animation anymore. But suddenly, okay, they still need me to work on that. Okay, good thing lah. All right. I'm gonna find basically the file. Sorry, guys. File tak di sini. But maybe there is a file, okay, that I can share. Okay, let me find right here, guys. Under 2D animations. One. Okay, let me double check. Ada tak? This is also another kind of version that I created before. Okay, a girl character there, right? A women girl character. How I actually design the characters here. How actually I animate them. See, I exaggerate more there, okay? Sampai the eyes also came up from the positions there, right? Have fun with it. Need jump sequence. Okay, how actually I made the videos, okay, combine the characters together. Using After Effects, okay. Background, basically we are using picture background, okay, in Photoshop, mixed up with the character itself. This is based on the cloud character. Then. This is more jump sequence. Okay, this is how basically we prepare the 5 keyframe of motions. Okay, this one basically more into the second assignment, I believe. Right? Second assignment, I think. Preparing the whole thing. Yes. You can work with the. This is 360 degrees. All right, more motions there, right? Okay, key motions. Okay, for the characters. How actually I design basically the walk cycle, jump cycles over here based on this simple character there. Okay. Running sequence that I saw before. This more running sequence there, right? How using motion twin later on that it works. A lot of things that we actually can playing around with it. Some loop animations. This is another version of that character that we draw before. See different kind of design. Using square characters, 2-head scale, but they look appealing, they guys. That's why the solid line is important. This one is, I don't like the design, but I just designed them just for the sake to show the student actually how it works. Because the shape, the character that he chose to draw the, okay, were not quite appealing for me. Okay? So find the right kind of subject matter that works. For me, this one, I sketch first roughly, okay, based on the characters, okay, that I find for myself, and then I transform into these women, lady character. Okay, different kind of style there of nose, eyes. Always start with the bold kind of eyes. Some sketches. Okay, roughly sketches, 2-head scale. So sketch, refer to your sketch, it's more better, okay? Make sure you refine your sketches there, please. Okay, when you start to design something. Jangan straight to draw like what I actually showed before, okay? Sometimes you need some time that to work on that. This is a rough sketches that I did. But anyway, I get the simple characters there. Good enough. Okay, to start with. But you can try also like this one if you want. All right, see the design itself. This one is a shark characters there. Because I saw some of the students draw shark characters. Okay, but make sure you have the references, okay, later on. This one basically for assignment 2. This is a bouncing ball exercise. You see, I start with a very simple character, right? Okay? Simple shape, but easy for us to access. To learn bouncing ball later on, okay, next week, dia tak susah. Oh, see, 5 keyframe of drawings there. Make the character look alive. Okay, this one, triangle character. Can you see the motions? Can you see the smoothest character motions using the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keyframes only. Then how we can exaggerate also. So that means, right, to design the characters doesn't have to think too complicated. You work with the basic shape first. Then you can see a lot of different happen. Kneecap characters. See? Start a very simple one, okay? This one, what we call that principles is really important. I want to share also this one. This is also okay. This is basically a good example how actually you can design a character. But the line looks just like it. Definitely. You have all these kind of exaggerations there. I can share with you guys over here, all right, inside our Google kind of what we call that classrooms. It's also one of the good example that you guys can actually use to as references. And the personalization. This one. It's a good channel that you guys can benefit with. This one, all right. Okay. I cannot share the link over here. Okay, share the link there, right? Huh? You guys can go for revisions. Huh? Okay, guys. Any questions? You can watch also a lot of cartoons from now on. There, okay. From now on, okay. In order for you to get more kind of ideas there, okay, and start to sketch. Any questions about those tools? I think we don't use a lot of tools, right? What we go through right here, okay, only a simple tool, okay, that give you more benefit in practice. Okay, okay, guys. So, no questions. Yes, yes.
Mr. Faisal, uh, for like the grading, right? Does a more complicated character means a better grade
No lah,
or
tak ada lah.
no? Okay.
No.
So you could,
If you because if you can handle the character, good. Buat je dulu, right? Okay, you design whatever that you want first, but try to do some backup lah. That means, okay, when you design your sketch characters, you if you understand properly how to work with these tools that are okay, the technique that I showed just now. Once you design the character, then you playing around with all this design process using the brush tool and group them up, everything there, right? You will start to analyze what are your goals basically. What are the challenges they're going to meet from there. Jangan buat dia the whole thing blindly without thinking also. Because when we design the characters for animations, everything that we design is going to be our responsibility to animate. Okay? And you have to understand how actually you're going to incorporate your 12 principle of animations during the animation process with your design that you create. Kalau you buat design the characters but you cannot animate efficiently, also no point. Kan? But if you can handle the whole elements, all the parts together to develop the right kind of motions, good. But in a way, for me, in the design process, at the moment, you design first, but you try to back up your files. Right? For me, right, okay, don't do different kind of design, okay, in order for you to apply to your kind of creative process. You start with the one design, and then you learn how to simplify that. Macam you saw basically some of the Japanese characters, they design, for example, okay, a very full figure characters, right? Okay, but there are also some mini version of that, right? Ada chibi, ada kawaii, ada very simplified kind of style, right? Okay. So that means based on the same character, but you actually can duplicate into multiple kind of version. Itu lagi bagus. So the best way, try to design a template for your character structure that first. Make it balanced in three-quarter view. And then from there, you design a few style that based on the same character. Lagi bagus. Okay? It doesn't mean to be this character lah. Sometimes right, I really doesn't like to see that. Okay, this is basically my personal kind of point of view. Students start to design like this a lot, but the character doesn't look appeal, and it worst thing, it doesn't look balanced. All right, so start with the head scale, properly draw the head scale just like I show basically the sketches just now there, right? And start to grind first over there, but don't take too long lah. All right, but of course I understand like your age, your stage right now, you want to try do a lot of things that try to challenge basically yourself. Go ahead, tapi don't take too long until you lost your kind of responsible right now to understand how to use the tools over here also. Okay, make something that you like to work and you feel that you can handle that. But of course, to understand about those kind of things, you have to experience to make mistake. You not make mistake, you don't understand. And of course, once, okay, the key to animate are to design the characters. How you know basically that characters are going to be right for you to work at that time. You not do those things too long, right? And you start to find some solutions. Once the character that you draw, you spend more than a day or 2 days to figure out how it works, that means that character doesn't work for you at the moment. But it doesn't mean you can throw away. You keep that first into your libraries. Like I said, you duplicate first. And then you make some changes. That's how you develop the creative process. Kalau you keep changing the character style, character kind of element, character kind of features, or you using different kind of subject matters that works, you'd never solve your problems. Okay? And another thing, as a character designer, we create problems, we solve the problems. As a designer, okay? Jangan create problems, but you cannot solve the problems there. And sometimes we can make worse. Okay? So you have to be smart, develop your own creation, and you should teach yourself to understand why you do this kind of thing like that, why you design like this. Okay? And the best way, you can learn also from other people's characters, tapi start with the sketches. Start with the structure. Jangan just trace the character, become yours. You don't benefit anything from there. All right? If you say to me before, or maybe you have that kind of ideas before, you don't like use AI, whatever it is, okay? So don't copy from other people. You can learn from them, but don't trace or copy to become yours. That basically also plagiarism. Right. For me, right, okay? If you don't have ideas, you use AI lah to develop idea first. But don't just trace the whole thing directly from there. You learn also how to work lah properly. Because sometimes AI, what they brings to you, it all depends on how actually you prompt. If you prompt general kind of prompt, they give you basically high quality design character lah. But if you know basically what the proper prompt, like you say you want to have an American cartoon, Japanese cartoon, manga kind of style, and simplify that style, for example, they give the more simplified style. For me, the best way, sometimes you sketch first your characters, roughly, you bring to AI, convert them into the more proper style. If you like it, that style, you follow them back again and you draw accordingly to the design. Or you can improvise from there. That's also one way. That's the process of working, the guys, okay, nowadays. but never basically, for example, I saw before this, the student draw My Little Pony exactly like My Little Pony. For what, guy? You say you don't like to copy other people's works, it's a plagiarism, not ethical, but you still do the same thing, kan? So the best way, you can learn from there, you can actually develop the inspiration from My Little Pony, but don't draw My Little Pony lah. Kenapa nak buat My Little Pony? Right. Because it's not ethical to copy other people's works. My Little Pony also draw from the Little Pony kind of horses, and then the design also the cute way forward. I also love that kind of character, right? Especially the new version that they create. But I then never want to design that character for myself, because that's people character, right? I rather design basically my own kind of way, but I also get influence from other kind of cartoons. I watch basically Gravity Falls nowadays. I watch also Adventure Times. I watch also a lot of other kind of cartoons directly, especially that transformation also a very good inspiration that works with a very simple character, but you actually can indicate the motion from there. Okay, you ask basically the marks there, right? If you can apply the 12 principle correctly, you can get a good mark. Kalau you design the characters nicely, but the motion become like a stiff robot there, right? Very stiff like patung puppet there, right? There's no point. Markah pun sikit. Okay? So remember that, right? Okay? The reason why we learn 2D animation because we want to emphasize the 2D animation 12 principle. Alright? Thrust and squash yang penting tu, right? Okay, most important thing. To make it. Then exaggerations, staging, peeling the character itself. Okay? So this week, practice first, sketch first, analyze first, study first, teach yourself first, and also don't forget, cepat-cepat you practice the tools. Simple the tool, guys. Brush tools only. Brush tool, timeline, ada keyframe a bit, color, using the brush. Okay, don't forget, okay, brush tool. Try to use, okay, this one, this use pressure, they will not appear if you use mouse. They will appear if you use tablet. Ingat this one. Okay? So remember this one. Normally lah, okay, what I understand, right? Okay, normally when I install the tablet, right? Let me see the right. If I close this one, ada tak ada? Now they ada lah because they already copied, okay? But normally tak ada. As far as I remember, okay, last time, sometimes the system, right, okay, kind of I also don't understand, right? Okay? You tak install the driver, dia tak ada. This button is not here. That's also something that sometimes happens basically in the system, right? Okay. So, guys, any other questions? Hopefully, I answered the question, Anis. All right.
Yep. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else there? Oh, tak ada. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, have a good holiday. Okay, thank you also. Okay, for having me today. Okay, so that means later on, if I actually replace the class, you don't have to come lah. Okay, I just take attendance accordingly to this kind of today kind of lesson. Okay, how many people inside? All right. Kurang. Mana? Check. How many people inside? All right. Semua ada ke?
13.
12
Total 14. Sekejap saya
okay.
tengok check.
Ada one person missing lah. Okay lah. Okay guys, so thank you very much. Have a good public holiday. I'll see you guys around when? Tomorrow Oh, tomorrow tak ada. Next week lah. But next week Monday, we don't have another class. Okay, kena replace juga. Right? Because I have workshop. So we meet on Wednesday, practical. So get ready with the tools. If you don't have those tablets, please borrow from the lab assistant. You are your own tablet, better than that. Okay? So we're going to learn the bouncing ball and animation concept. All right, have a good day. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys around. And good luck with the practice there, okay? All right, guys. Okay, bye. Take care, all right.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, all right. Bye-bye.